Okay, so looking at the question, I noticed some things immediately right away. And what I noticed is that first equation, the first two terms are reciprocals of one another. So I want to kind of warn against this, but you could introduce a variable here and you could say u plus 1 over u equals 41 over 20, with the understanding that u is equal to 3x plus 2y over 3x minus 2y. Now, that might seem like a good option for you to do that, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm just thinking that I'm going to try something different, all right? So you could try that. You could try to solve for u and then figure out what x and y is with respect to that. It seems like a lot of work to me, but again, it may work out beautifully for you. Who knows? I'm going to do something different. But I realize that I don't have enough space to put the problem down here. So I got to go to the whiteboard, and I'm going to do that now. Give me a second to get to the whiteboard, and the whiteboard here. And let me blow it up. It's a blackboard now, but it's okay. I'll write this one down, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to look at that first equation and clear the fraction. So the first equation is 3x plus 2y, and then it's 3x minus 2y. It's going to work out nicely. Don't worry about that. These problems are really, I always say, most algebra problems are really written to work nicely. I wish this were true of the world, by the way, that problems were working nicely. But this worked nicely. It may be tricky, but it works nicely. And this is the tricky problem over here. It really looks awful. And what I'd recommend is I'm going to just get a common denominator. I'm noticing that the reason that the common denominator is really easy, just a product of those two, which turns out to be pretty simple. That would be 9x squared minus 4y squared. That's just a common denominator there. All right? So what do you do? It's going to be 3x plus 2y squared plus 3x minus 2y squared. And what's that equal? 41 over 20. I'm just working through it. All right? So I'll do the top. The top looks tough to do, but I'll multiply it out. And this is 41 over 20. The bottom is just 9x squared minus 4y squared. All right, what do you get there? Well, 9x squared, that's not so bad, plus 12xy. Let's see, then what do you get? Plus 4y squared. Then you're going to get 9x squared minus 12xy plus 4y squared. Well, I noticed something like, right away that these things disappear, which is good. I didn't like them anyway. And what do you get? You get 18x squared. Let's see, plus 8y squared. That's not so bad. Let me just make sure I did that right. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then I get 9x squared minus 4y squared. So things are kind of shaping up somewhat, but I still have to do some work over here. And the work is to clear the fraction now. So I'll write this down, and this would be 360 x squared. I'm multiplying both sides by 20, by the way, to do that, plus 160 y squared. Let me just check to see if I did that correctly. 2 times 18 is 30. Yeah, 360. 160. And then, 41 times 9, that is a 41. Let me just check my notes. Yep, 41. 41 times 9 is 369. X squared. And then what do you get? Minus, well, that's going to be what? 4 times 4, 120. Let me make sure I'm doing that. I'm sorry. 4 times 4 is 16. So 164. And that's going to be y squared. All right? So, someone says, where's this going? And you may actually forget where it's going, but I really need to simplify that equation. And what am I seeing over there? Subtract 360 from both sides. I get 9x squared. And then that would be, let's see, that would be 324, right? And that would equal 0. So someone says, that was a lot of work, and why did I do that? You did that because it looks like the second equation now. So I'm going to write the second equation down for you. And the second equation is 8y squared plus 3x squared is equal to 29. And I'm going to put that first equation, which I just simplified. It's a conditional simplification. I'm not worried about the conditions where that's not true. But I'll write this down as minus 324 y squared plus 9x squared is equal to 0. So I'm at this stage, and then the question is, what are you going to do now? Well, I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm going to multiply the second equation by minus 3. And if I did that, you would get minus 24y squared, right? Multiplying by minus 3, minus 9x squared. And then what? You get, let's see, that would be 60 and 27. So that's minus 87, right? I think I can handle it. So I'm going to cross that out. I'm going to add these two equations together. And what do you get? Minus 3, 4, 8y squared is equal to minus 87. All right, let me try to copy things down. Yeah, I think I did it right. So I got to divide through by 348. And let's see what you get there. 87 over 348. Well, let's take a look. It looks like about a quarter, right? Let's see if that's true. 80 times 4 is 320. Let me check this out on the side. And then 28. Yeah, it looks like it worked out pretty good. So what's y going to equal to? Plus or minus 1/2. And that's kind of good news. And I'll tell you why it's good news. It's easy for me to deal with it now. Then the question is, how would you figure out the x? Well, let me write this down. So it would be 8y squared plus 3x squared is equal to 29. So then what I have to do is plug it in. And, I'm getting a little better at this. So I realize if I, put the plus or minus in there, it really wouldn't much matter if it's plus or minus because I'm squaring it. So what's it going to be? 8 times a quarter. Whether it's plus or minus doesn't matter to me. 3x squared equals 29. I've got some work to do here, don't I? So this is going to be what? That would be 2. That's not so bad. 3x squared equals 29. And then 3x squared equals 27, right? So x squared would equal, gee, this is working out too nice, isn't it? So I'm sorry, not x squared. I'll get my eraser out again. So it's really x equals plus or minus 3. I'll write that down for you. And, I'll write it down. So 1/2, 3, 1/2, minus 3, minus 1/2, 3, and minus 1/2, minus 3. Got 4 answers. I did some tricky things over here, and I certainly would recommend that you look at the numbers that you're given over here and see if any of them cause trouble in the original system. Well, I'm not worried about the second equation. I'm really kind of worried about the first equation. And the reason I'm worried about the first equation is that I'm just wondering if it works in the first equation. And, I'm looking to see if there's any divisions by zeros, really what I'm worried about. And like 3x, maybe 3/2. Well, I'm seeing a problem, I'll be honest with you. And I see a problem right here. Let me take a look at that. 3 times, I'm looking at the bottom of the first equation, and its denominator is 3x minus 2y. And I notice if I plug it in, I get 3/2. Oh, no, that's not a problem. No, that's good. And the other denominator, I thought I saw a problem over there, is 3x plus 2y. Yeah, I'm not really checking. I'm just seeing if I get division. But the first one, there's no division by 0. Let me see if this one, nope. This one, let me take a look. Nope. And this one over, no, all of them work. All of them work. When I said that, no division by 0. So we got 4 solutions. I also want to claim over here that in my notes, if you look back over the notes, let me just take a look and see if I did that. And see if I wrote that down. Did I put all those answers down? Let me just see if I put my answers down for you. So one's a bit tricky. And, oh, you know what? I got the points backwards. That's why I'm seeing it strange. And I apologize. This is incorrect. I wrote a wrong answer down. It's 3, comma, 1/2. Sorry about that. And then, minus 3, whoops, 1/2, 3 minus 1/2, I'm glad I looked. And then, let's see, we got 3, 1/2, minus 3, 1/2, 3 minus 1/2, and minus 3 minus 1/2. All right, you got those 4 solutions over there. And just to check it, let me just check in my key, by the way, and see if I've got those things down. Plus minus 3, 1/2, plus minus 3, 1/2. That our solutions are valid. There is no point at the origin. And I'm looking. I want to see the curve they're giving me over here. What curve is that? Figure 81. Yeah, I'm seeing it. There's 4 points of intersection. This is good. So we're done. All right. And sorry about that confusion over here with this over here. But again, these are also non-zero for those numbers I'm giving over there. Clearly non-zero. All right. So all 4 worked. And I do put the graph down there for you. The graph is difficult, by the way. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a difficult graph. And that's why machines are nice to have. But we went through that. Kind of tricky, but we got through it. And thank you so much for paying attention.